I'm excited to tell you about our new program at Progressive Health called Successful Aging. If you think back to your very first day on this earth, you were a brand new person. Every cell in your body was pristine and free of the wear and tear and damage that occurs with aging. And fast forward to today, and things have changed. We've lived a lot of our lives. And I want you to think about your future self, that person years in the future who's going to have more diseases, who is going to be more frail. And if you think far enough ahead, you will have your last day on this earth. If we think of your life as a timeline, we had our birth. We all had the same experience of having a day when we entered this planet. And then we have a childhood and an education that lasts about 20 years. Then we work until about age 65. And then if you're the average person, you'll retire, be sick for about 10 years, and then you'll die. If you're a man at 75, or if you're a woman, you will die at about age 80, because that's the average age at which we pass away. Because 2/3 of people in the United States, 65 and over, have two or more serious or life-threatening chronic diseases. So I'm Dr. David Donohue. I'm a primary care physician, and I'm also a lifestyle medicine physician. And I'm proud to be one of the owners of Progressive Health of Delaware. And one of the things that we love to employ at Progressive Health of Delaware is what we call lifestyle medicine. Lifestyle medicine is using the power of healthy lifestyle to treat the root cause of chronic diseases and prevent and reverse so many of the diseases that we suffer from and we die from. And lifestyle medicine becomes an important part of the strategy to live our longest and best lives. So our strategy for successful aging is step one is use the best that evidence-based medicine has to offer. Diagnose and treat diseases aggressively, but avoid excessive treatment in the form of being medicalized. Step two is lifestyle medicine. This is where it really shines in helping to treat those diseases and prevent them in the first place and help us live and feel our very best. And then finally, there's a new emerging science called health span or longevity science. And this field has a great deal to offer to help us live longer and better lives. So it's a journey to live this life. It's a journey to live a long life. And it is more of a marathon than a sprint if we want to change the trajectory and not live the average life expectancy, but rather extend that life. So our program, Successful Aging, is addressed to do just that. Successful Aging is a program that I'm very excited about through Progressive Health of Delaware, and it's available to anyone who becomes an established patient at Progressive Health of Delaware. Each month, we're going to cover a new topic related to longevity, related to living your very best life. And we're going to also have homework in the form of a series of some testing that we might encourage you to do, or some counseling or coaching that we might encourage you to go get. And the important thing is that each month we're going to keep the ball moving forward. We're going to be collecting important, vital information about you and your health, and we're going to be giving you new skills and abilities to live your best life. To give you an example of how we're going to approach this, let's think about your vital organs. We can measure the age of your organs, and our goal is to not only slow the aging process, but even reverse the age of some of your vital organs. How can we do this? Let's take the example of muscles. As we get older, we lose muscle mass. We become weaker. And this process has been called sarcopenia. The muscle gets replaced with fat as we get older. And so a normal thigh muscle is going to have a lot of muscle cells. But as we get older, our thighs become more atrophic. They have less muscle and more fat, and we become weaker. And if it gets severe enough, we can become frail. So this decline of muscle strength is normal with age, and the average person is going to decline pretty rapidly and even hit a point of disability in their lives where they can't do the things they used to be able to do. They can't get up off the ground without assistance. They can't walk without a walker. They need to be in a wheelchair. We don't want to hit this level of disability. We want to flatten this curve out so that we don't decline as rapidly, so that we preserve that muscle mass over time. Strengthening turns out to be the answer to so many of the maladies that people experience as we get older. Everything from certainly frailty, but incontinence can be overcome with the right strengthening exercises. Injuries can be overcome with the right strengthening exercises. Same with much of pain relates to weakness. And when we're able to strengthen the muscles, we reduce the pain. And there is so much research supporting this. The risk of falling and the risk of fractures when you do fall are very much a product of the muscle mass in our legs and more a function of our strength in the legs than they are even the bone strength. We're proud to offer at Progressive Health functional assessments by our exercise physiologist, Frank Vera, because we firmly believe that if you can measure it, you can improve it. And it is absolutely necessary to measure certain things to prevent that natural decline. So Frank does a very thorough functional and strength assessment in which he measures hand grip strength, balance, leg muscle strength, upper body strength, cardiorespiratory fitness, and ability to perform important daily functional activities. He comes up with a custom exercise plan that you are willing and able to do. Among the assessments that he does, some of these are very simple. How many times can you stand up from a seated position in 30 seconds? This one's a little more challenging, called the sitting rising test. How easily are you able to sit down on the ground and get up without needing to put hands down onto the ground or put a knee down? And these are important measures because if we can measure it, we can identify it before that frailty sets in. So ultimately, I think many of us might spend more time in the gym because strengthening is just that important. And among the things we're very excited about is that there's some emerging science, some really game-changing methodologies for building strength in a very time-efficient manner. So this idea of slow, high-intensity strength training is one that we're promoting and we believe is a game changer for many people and really puts exercise strength training into the hands of more people because of the simplicity of this method. Let's talk about aging of the heart and the cardiovascular system. This is our leading killer, and there's so much research that says that this need not be a disease at all, that it is generally almost completely preventable with a healthy enough lifestyle. So too many of us suffer from damaged heart as pictured on the right, thanks to our unhealthy habits that we were all taught to live in our Western culture. But when we're able to shift over and incorporate more healthy habits around nutrition, around movement and exercise, good restorative natural sleep, and social connection and stress reduction. But it also helps to really understand what's going on with your heart. And fortunately, nowadays, we have a lot of advanced cardiac testing that we can do in the form of advanced blood labs. Each of these items on this list is actionable, and we have real ways of improving your status. And there's also advanced cardiac imaging that can give us a very clear picture of where is the plaque in your coronary arteries, how much of a threat is it? And then once we've done that thorough assessment and really come to understand where is your heart and what level of risk do you have now, we can implement treatments. And there's newer treatments, including some very advanced blood cholesterol lowering drugs that work dramatically well. And thirdly, we'll talk about the brain briefly. So the brain is an organ we all want to preserve, but it tends to decline with age, much like the muscles and much like the heart. But fortunately, here again, we have a lot of power over whether we go on to develop Alzheimer's disease or not. And we have a lot of power over how sharp we stay cognitively as we age. And again, it relates to the same lifestyle factors to a large extent. But that said, Alzheimer's is not necessarily just going to reverse by changing our diet and our exercise and our sleep. Sometimes we need to employ the very best that science has found regarding certain superfood chemicals that apparently have some compelling research showing that they have the power of improving cognition, or other modalities like use of a sauna, which has, again, very strong research evidence that it might slow the rate at which our brains decline. Another category of aging is at the cellular level. And this is where the cells of our body get older and become less functional. And the results of this are devastating. This can cause higher rates of cancer and the cognitive decline we just spoke of, and type 2 diabetes and heart disease and fibrosis of the liver. So it's important that we really get on top of our blood sugar levels. So fortunately, technology has given us nowadays some very good tools for that, like continuous glucose monitoring. Or another approach is to eat super healthy. And if we want to reduce the rate at which we age, we also want to reduce our body inflammation. And there's few ways that are better to do that than to consume foods like these flavonoid-rich, colorful fruits and vegetables. There are a whole host of supplements out there and thousands of research papers examining them. This paper, written about in late 2022, looked at over 40 different supplements and looked at every single research paper on those supplements. And what they found is that there were a number of supplements that reduce risk of our leading killer, heart disease, but there was only one that had statistically significant benefit for all-cause mortality. It made us live longer. And what was that supplement? It was coenzyme Q10. So coenzyme Q10 makes my short list of supplements that I believe almost everybody should be taking on a daily basis. So that future self of yours is going to someday be older and someday be less functional. But hopefully I've impressed upon you that you have a lot of power, a lot of agency in how the rest of your days are going to play out. And that I think you and I share the same mission for your life, that we want your days to be as vibrant and healthy as possible. So if we go back to that timeline of the average person, I think we can do better than 10 years of sickness. Your retirement is 10 years of sickness and then you die. If we really incorporate the healthy lifestyle elements that we talked about, then you have the potential of adding approximately a decade of good health, and hopefully shrinking that period with which you're really sick and facing disability before our deaths. And if we were to employ some of this more advanced longevity science that I spoke to today, then I believe that there's the potential of even another decade, pushing the life expectancy of some of our women to all the way up to 100, if you can imagine that, and men all the way up to 95. So that's a powerful, powerful effect. And I believe we can do it. We do have to make some changes. We can't live as we do and just do the comforting things that we've always learned to do, like eat the same way and have the same level of exercise. We've got to step things up, but we can do it. And I hesitate to say, but I believe that between now and the next few decades, we might even see more breakthroughs that allow us to extend life expectancy even farther. So I encourage you to sign up for Successful Aging. You can go to our website, progressivehealthproject.com, and look for the Successful Aging link at the top. And on that page is a form that you can fill out to register. So thanks for joining. And good luck. I wish you every success.